So I think here we go. Good evening, everybody. I think we are connected. Yeah, let's just let that go up. So I hope you're all well this evening. The days are drawing short, well, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. I guess you're probably nearest the longest day in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's wonderful to be here again with you tonight. We're going to continue with what we were doing. Good evening, Vladimir. Great to have you with us. Okay, as I said, we're going to continue this thing that we were doing before about the liking gap. Good evening, Vitali. We missed you last week. Great to have you. Good evening, Kate. Good evening, Deep Tea. Good to have you again. Namaste. Okay, we're starting to get people in now. That's good. Yo, left or right. Thank you very much indeed. Today is the day of celebration because I hit 100,000. Thank you, left or right. Thank you all of you for your long-term support. It's been great. Okay, so yes, this article, what was it talking about? It was talking about the liking gap. Good evening, Malak. Great to have you. The liking gap. No, this isn't about the liking gap. What am I talking about? This is about why we find it difficult to say no. Okay, thank you very much, Autumn. Great to have you here. Yeah, this is about why we find it difficult to say no and the factors that are at play. People find it difficult to refuse because they think it's a way to avoid possible confrontation. We're a load of scaredy cats, aren't we? Okay, so in a minute we're going to get the first one through. Okay, VG, wonderful to have you, my friend. Okay, so has it come through yet? No, it's like there's a really long lag this evening. Okay. Hi there, Valentine. It's Sunday today, yeah. In Bohns studies, the participants were almost always of equal stature. Clear power dynamics will play an important role, though by definition, people of a higher status should have more influence over people of lower status within a ranking, chain, hierarchy, or ladder. So, thank you very much indeed for the congratulations. Thank you, VG. Good evening, Ronan. Hi, Count Beauty. Wonderful to see you. So, yeah, we're actually getting started. So we have an answer from Vitali already. So, let's see. The social status of the person asking you has a relationship with how difficult it is for you to say no. So if somebody of very high social status asks you for something, it's much harder for you to say no. Whereas somebody of lower status than you, it's much easier for you to say no. So Reynard goes for hierarchy and ladder as well. I think YouTube's not working particularly well tonight. So left or right goes for hierarchy and Reynard goes for hierarchy and ladder. That's interesting. So we'll have a few more answers in a minute. Good evening, Manji. Hierarchy. So patriarchy from David Lutz. If it was there within a patriarchy, it would work. Count goes for ladder, Vladimir for hierarchy, Ronan and Deep Tea both go for hierarchy as well. Thank you, Vitali. I've racked up 100,000. Hierarchy and ladder for VG. Okay, so let's start to give you some. Good evening, Ambira. I think I would use the word a social ladder. Let me put some capitals. So that's why I don't like the word ladder. Yeah, we need to say what sort of ladder it is. Good evening, Vibes. Good evening, Numan. Okay, so now so within a ranking, within a ranking, within a social ranking, within a chain of people, within a hierarchy, and this is the right answer. Yeah, definitely within a hierarchy. Otherwise, I would say within a social ladder. Okay, the next one's quite fun. Yeah, so it depends how far up the social ladder the person is. Yeah, yeah. And hierarchy for Malak as well. Yeah, I don't know, maybe right here behind me, left or right. We'll see. Well, we have to see if they send it to me first. Maybe they change their minds. Importantly, Bohns' research suggests that these people may not realize how uncomfortable someone will feel about saying no to their demands. The outshot, inshot, byshot, upshot, downshot is that they may end up asking too much of their junior colleagues without even meaning to abuse their position. So, good, we've got some answers now. Huh? This one's a little bit more difficult. I think I would accept two answers. I think one's probably more common than the other. So, let's see. Upshot for Vitali Manji, Abira left or right, vibes, Deepti has no idea. Yeah. And who's this? Well, okay. So downshot doesn't exist. Huh. The result without the as vibes, the result would be, okay, so not the downshot and the byshot. I guess you might use a byshot as an unexpected result. Yeah. One of the byshots of this new law was the creation of a new business. Yeah, it's like an offshoot. Yeah, but no, definitely not byshot. Downshot doesn't exist. Inshot doesn't exist. And the two I would accept are outshot and upshot. So the upshot, the result, the outshot. What was the outshot of that football match? What was the upshot? So notice both upshot and outshot would fit. But in the original, they've used upshot. Okay? What was the upshot of the request you made? Yeah? I think, yeah, an upshot can be in a way like a byshot, something that comes from something else. Yeah, but very often unexpected. Okay, so the upshot of something. So this is saying very often senior people ask junior people to do lots of things, and they ask so much it's very difficult for them to say no. Exactly, the outcome is exactly, and that's the word. Okay, and Malak goes for upshot as well. Good, good. So, yeah, both these words, the upshot was, the outshot was. Okay, let's try the next one. Bohns believes that in many situations we should actively create opportunities for others to disagree with us. Make it possible for other people to say no. Outshot, outcome, yes. Upshot, the result. Yeah, the result of it. Huh. Okay, wow. Thank you, Haley. That's really kind of you. Yeah. Do I think English would be good for the English language? As in a mixture of American and English. Or linguistic purism. No, I think linguistic purism would be very bad for English, because I think one of the things that English does is it's very malleable. It's always evolving. It's always getting better. Yeah. So I don't like purism, because purism just stops evolution, and change is inevitable. It would stop the invention of new words, and that's what's so nice about English. New words come in the whole time. Okay, so thank you, Haley. And Bohns believes that in many situations we should actively create create opportunities for others to disagree with us. This may mean that we change the medium through which we make our requests. People are more likely to respond positively to your request if you ask them in person or over the phone. So we find it more difficult to say no when we're in person or over the phone. Given that, regardless, inasmuch as, whereas, they could feel more comfortable turning you down by email. So it's easier to say no by email. So we've got, let's see, probably Vitaly, no he hasn't done so. First one here is for Vibe saying whereas. So with Vitaly and Manji. Okay, but it's actually talking about purism. Yeah, you've got the English language has got to be in one way, and it's very prescriptive. So, whereas for Count Beauty, for Vladimir, for Renyard, thank you, Tarum. Deepti goes for regardless. Okay, Deepti, regardless of, I'm going to put an of there, of weather. But no, it's not very good. Okay, so whereas for Valentine, good evening, Sherwin, good morning, that. You've gone for given that. And Abira for whereas, Malak for whereas, left or right, given that. I think that's quite interesting as well. So, but, yet, whereas. I like that whereas. People are more likely to respond positively to your request if you ask them in person. Given that, so taken as a logical theory from it, whereas on the other side, I have to say that both of these words are right. The original answer is whereas, but I think given that is a very good answer as well. Is inasmuch common? No, it's very, very, very unusual. Yeah, inasmuch as. This sounds like a formal document or a lawyer speaking. Be nice to him inasmuch that he is a human being. Regardless of whether or whether. Have I spelt that W-E-A? No, I said W-H, weather, that's right. Yes, W-E-A is the weather that you see if it's raining or sunny or cloudy or things like that. So it's time for me to read. You may decide that you'd like to make the request face to face, of course. Perhaps it feels more polite or will allow you to explain your case in more detail. But you could at least give the person the time to ponder, mull, contemplate, brood, muse it over, and this it over is very important, and respond at a later point. You can give the person a little more space to gather their thoughts, to think about it. Okay, an Old English lesson, but I can't really speak Old English, that's the problem. So, ponder it over, mull it over, contemplate it over, brood it over, muse it over, and respond at a later date, a later point. So, we've got mull for Vitaly, Vibes, Vladimir, Manji, Renyard, Count, Deepti, and left or right, and we got Valentine with ponder. You can't ponder it over, Valentine, it doesn't work. Wow, ponder it over. To ponder two things over. Okay, so, is borrowing lots of words from foreign languages desirable for all languages or only for English? as English is the lingua franca for all languages, is the lingua franca of the world today, then I think that it's desirable for English. However, I don't think it is so desirable for other languages, particularly minority languages, because if they start borrowing too many words, then English becomes part of all their languages, and we need to maintain diversity. Wow, that's a great question, Hayley. Thank you very much. Let's see, it's good for English. If you want to be a lingua franca, then definitely. If you want to just, if you want a if you want to maintain and keep your own culture and your own language, then I think it's a good thing. So it depends. For English, it's good. For other languages, I think it's bad. For other major languages, it could be good. Because English is a language that tends to do that. Also, though, language influences the way we think, and sadly, the number of languages is disappearing. Okay, so Spanish uses tons of English words. Yeah, even some of them wrongly, which make me laugh. There are loads of them. So we need to look at an answer here. You need to, but you could at least give the person time to think about it, to think it over, would fit very nicely. To ponder, I would say about it. To contemplate about it. To brood. What's to brood? To brood is to be angry, to keep something going over and over in your mind. So, for example, if something bad happens to you and you brood about it all day, okay, so don't brood about it. Time to contemplate about it. Yeah, to contemplate without it over. Give the person time to contemplate, full stop. To muse about it, to think about it. To contemplate it over. No, not with this it over. To contemplate, full stop. To chew it over would work very nicely. No, the right answer is to mull it over, to mull something over. To think about it. Breed, no, David. Breed talks about refining it one generation to another. Wow. Should English not maintain its own culture? You see, wait a second. I think you're now confusing English and the English language, because the English no longer have control over their language, nor do the Americans. I personally believe that the English language now is is something that is owned by the international world and has become an international culture. Also, when English introduces new words, it's because they have a meaning that we don't have properly in another language. I think the English language does not belong to the English or the Americans anymore, and we have to find our own culture. Maybe if you look at the UK is a completely multicultural society, or becoming more and more, and one day it will completely be, and that is reflected itself in the language. So, good evening, Maria. I haven't said good evening to you. A brood of chickens, to brood about something, to think about it very hard and for a long time. Okay. We might... So, we've got another one coming. Hens also brood, a broody chicken. Yeah, a broody chicken is thinking about eggs. Her mind is absolutely fixed on how am I going to raise a set of eggs. You can't do anything but sit on eggs. They're very funny. So, we might clue, sign, cue, smack, hint that we don't feel comfortable with something. But it's a lot harder to actually come out and say, no, I'm not going to do it. Vanessa Bohns. So, we will see. The sun never sets on the British Empire. That was something they used to say in Victorian times. The British Empire no longer exists, only the British haven't actually worked that out yet. So, let's see. We might clue, sign, cue, smack, hit that we don't feel comfortable. Sorry, hint. With something. So, let's see. We've got hint for Vladimir, for Vitaly, for Abira, for Valentine, Manji, Count Beauty, left or right, Maria, and for Haley, and for Paul as well, and for Sherwin. Thank you for all those donations, Haley. That was really, really kind of you. Okay, so Sherwin also goes for hint. So we might clue, to clue as a verb. To clue somebody up, maybe. Yeah, I clued him up, I talked about it. To sign, we could make signs, I suppose, but not really. We might cue. So to cue is to indicate or to push, to be the indicator that something should happen or that something should start. To smack of, to taste of, to be reminiscent of. The architecture of this building smacks of London. Yeah, his comment had a smack of irony to it. Okay, a hint. Yeah, we might hint, definitely to hint. Yeah, we don't say it directly. To hint is to say indirectly, to say things indirectly. And hint for Renyard and Vuslak. Good evening, Vuslak. Good to have you as well. Okay, so yes, to hint, particularly to hint at something. You hint at an idea. Yeah, you don't directly say it's true, but you say things to imply it. Wow. Okay, so we're going to, yeah, to hint, very definitely. I like this word to cue. Normally to cue, it's, for example, in a play or a scene of cinema. One person says one thing and that's somebody else's cue to say or do something else. Smacked of desperation. I love that phrase. Yes, it's a really good one, left or right. Okay, so now we've got some answers. Ian McRae, a work psychologist and author of the recent book Dark Social, says he's very interested in Bohn's research. He agrees that allowing room for disagreement is essential, and that's part of politeness theory. In his opinions, managers should be especially suspicious, ginger, frugal, evasive, wary about making a request in public, since that will make it even harder for the employee to say no. So this is a very important element in being polite. If you want to offer something to somebody, the way to be polite is to give them every possibility to say no. I'm sure that this really wouldn't be very suitable for you and you don't really have time, but would you do this for me? Okay, so let's see. And we have wary for Vitaly, Kate, vibes, the hues and cues. That's quite nice, Maria. Count Beauty goes for evasive. Left right goes for wary. Good evening, Foslung. Thank you. And Sherwin goes for wary. Manny goes for ginger. So good evening, Mustafa. Vuslak goes for suspicious. Maria for wary. Paul for wary. Something that you find, Vera. It's like a little ornament, yeah, a little antique or something interesting. Deep Tea goes for evasive. You had a manager who did this to you all the time. It means he's a bad manager. Yeah, he's abusive. Okay, and Maria goes for wary as well. So we should be suspicious. But if you're suspicious, you think that somebody's done something wrong. Yeah? And maybe the worker should be suspicious if you make the request in public. Valentine, very okay. Delicate, that's a good synonym, Valentine. Okay, ginger. Let's see, to me most commonly is the adverb with this, gingerly. Yeah, he gingerly, very cautiously, not very aggressively, made a request in public. But especially ginger, no, we should do it gingerly. Okay, and Randu goes for wary. He was a micromanager. Sounds a terrible boss, left or right. Okay, we should be frugal. If you're frugal, you don't spend a lot of money. You don't use a lot of resources. In this world, we need to be more and more frugal. Okay, evasive. You went for this computer, I think. If you're evasive, you try and not answer people's questions. You try and not give any concrete answers. So ask a politician yes or no, and he'll be evasive. Well, for some people yes, and for some people no. Ginger also means the colour or the root of ginger, which is delicious. It's one of my favourite things. To ginger. To ginger up as a phrasal verb vibes, meaning to spice up. So you could ginger up your essay a bit by adding a few more adverbs and adjective. Stingy and mean is frugal. That's a good one. Okay, to be reclusive, Mustafa. That probably works as well. So the right answer is wary, as so many of you have asked. Yeah, if you're wary about something, you're chary about it as well. Let me write that word, chary. Is a more unusual synonym for wary. So yeah, you're wary about doing this. You want to be cautious about it, and that's the idea of wary. Yeah, I quite like the word ginger, but not really. I think it might just about work here. I'm sure ginger as an adjective would do, but more common as an adverb. Okay, that's going to build up resentment, spite, venom, offence, and have negative consequences later on. Frugal is economical if you wish, yes. To gussy up, to spruce yourself up, to ginger up, yes. Let's see. I gussied up, I made myself look nice, to ginger up. Yeah, it's like to make it look better. I think with ginger, let's see, vibes, you know the taste of ginger. It's one of the hot things. So to ginger up, to give it some spice, to give it some chili, yeah? Okay, so we're starting to get some answers. Good evening, Oksana. Great to have you. So, leery, I love that synonym, Paul. And we've got some answers. So, resentment for Vitaly, for Kate, for Count Beauty, for Vladimir, for Oksana, for Sherwin. Good evening. For Vuslat, left or right. Ginger man as part of Christmas bread. Yes, a gingerbread man. Yeah? Okay, which is made of the herb. And resentment for Manny, Maria, hi Emin, great to have you. Resentment for Abira, ginger up, jazz up, glam up. Thank you, Vitaly, those are good. And Paul also goes for resentment. So, yes, I have to give you this. The right answer is resentment. Build up spite. If you feel spite, you want revenge. Yeah, you want to hurt somebody. You want to get back at them. You want to do something that that hurts them. if you resent them, something you resent, you just hate it. It gets more and more. I resent having this done to me. Yeah, to resent. Yeah, to not like a lot. Yeah, you have resentment. You think you resent somebody who's not fair. Venom, another word for poison. He answered me with great venom, and then to build up offence. No, it's going to cause offence, and if you cause offence enough, that creates a resentment, because resentment is much more long term. Yes, it effectively it's a threat when they do it like that, left or right, and that's the point. Okay, so hello workout. Here, and yes, it sounds like a threat in the end. Good evening, Vera. Retaliation, absolutely, Mustafa. Okay, so yes, if you feel spite, you want retaliation. If you feel resentment, you're just angry about it. Yeah, it's a great place to learn. Thank you, Sherwin. Okay, so let me read the next one. And if you're the worker who ends up having to decline a request, McCrae suggests that you might disband, dispel, disintegrate, dissipate, squander the awkwardness by thanking your colleague for the opportunity and by giving a constructive reason for your refusal. The venom of a snake. Yes, let's see, if you feel spite, you've got a grudge. Yeah, I guess resentment and grudge, that sounds yeah, I've got a grudge against him. I really don't like him. I really resent what he does. Yeah, I resent the way he behaves. I resent the way he uses his advantages in society. So we got some quite interesting ones here, haven't we? So you might disband the awkwardness, dispel the awkwardness, disintegrate the awkwardness, dissipate the awkwardness, squander the awkwardness by thanking your colleague. Thank you, and this is why I don't want to do it. Okay, so, all right, mate, I've learned a lot with your channel. Thanks, it's a pleasure, Ahed. Wonderful to have you. Okay, so Sherwin, dispel and dissipate. This is interesting. Let's see, squander definitely doesn't work. You squander money. You spend money in a stupid way. Yeah, he squandered a fortune. Disintegrate. To disintegrate is to break into pieces, and you're not going to disintegrate it. The rock disintegrated when there was an explosion. I dropped my telephone and it disintegrated. So let's see. We've got dispel for Vitali, dissipate for Count Beauty, Oksana for dissipate, Vuslat for dispel, Mustafa for dissipate, Renyard for dispel, Manji goes for dispel, Sherwin's between the two, Maria for dissipate, Ritwick for disintegration. If people would just stop constantly betraying me, I would cut the amount of time spent on revenge in half. So, to disband for Paul. Normally you disband a group. Yeah, the party disbanded at midnight. This is for a group of people to separate. The regiment was disbanded. Okay, so, this is maybe the question. Cast a spell. Dispel, so we're down to dispel or disintegrated. So in my opinion, they both fit. Sorry, dispel or dissipate. Dispel or dissipate. I think both of these fit, although I think dissipate is better. Because dispel, well, you could use dispel as well, but dispel to get rid of a magic spell. The fog dispelled. I would like to dispel any doubts you have. Yeah? But I reckon you could dispel the awkwardness, but dissipate sounds better. I think dissipate probably, dispel sounds more literary and romantic. To dissipate, the fog dissipated. Yeah, but dispel, it's got the feeling of saying a magic spell or magic words to make it go. Yeah, and this is more technical. To dissipate, well, I think they're both okay, as I've said anyway. So, now we go to the other one. The article said dissipate. Yeah, the article used dissipate. Although I actually probably like dispel more, but, well, that's their choice. Venom. Thank you. Thank you for coming from Dispel a Myth. That's very good, left or right. So, good evening, Venom. So, next one. Imagine your boss has sprung, jumped, flicked, whipped, leapt a last-minute task on you that is going to be nearly impossible to complete without a huge amount of stress. So, the key word here is on. Yeah? To verb something on somebody. So, we're starting to get some answers. Spread something around, yes. To make less intense. Yeah? The fog dissipated, the smell dissipated. So we're starting to get some answers, and I have the feeling you know this this phrasal verb. Yeah? So let's see. Ooh, everybody's going for the same one. And Count Beauty goes for whipped. Somebody else went for whipped as well. Yes, Mustafa as well. Ritwik goes for flicked. Okay, so let's see. Sprung for Vitaly, for Vladimir, for Valentine Vibes, left right Count Beauty, Maria. Oksana goes for flicked, Manji for sprung, Count Beauty for leapt, Sherwin for sprung. Whipped sounds too painful. Okay, so here we are looking at the phrasal verb to spring something on somebody. This is to surprise. You could spring a party for someone. To spring is to suddenly tell somebody something. I can't take you to work tomorrow, but he sprung it to me at the very last moment. Yeah, is to tell somebody something that they're just not ready for. They're not aware that it's going to happen. So Vuslat goes for strung. Good evening, Firoz goes for whipped. Paul for flicked. It's a set expression, yes. It's a phrasal verb to spring someone on something. Yeah, so 5 minutes before the meeting, he sprung it on me that he wasn't going to talk. Whipped up. To whip up. Yes. To do something impromptu. I will whip you up some food. He whipped me up a meal from absolutely nothing. Yeah? And that, so to whip up, but here to sprung. Good evening, Deborah. Thank you. Good evening. Nice to have you. And sprung. To spring something on somebody. Yeah, to surprise somebody with something. Maybe good or maybe bad. Yeah, whips up. Yeah, to spring something on somebody or onto somebody. Yes, that onto works as well. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one then. This is going very, very nicely today. We might even... what's the difference between linguistics and English? Well, English is a language. Linguistics is for any language. Yeah, pile on the work all of a sudden. Okay, yes. Has leapt into, something leaps to mind maybe. It's leapt into the blender. Okay, and the next one's a good one as well. This is a real goodie. You might say that you're really glad they thought you were capable of doing the task, and that in future you'd be happy to do it, but you need X days notice, or that you'd need extra resources to do so effectively, says McRae. That way, it's not so much of a reject, spurn, shun, defiance, rebuff. It's a conversation about how you can get it done. To drop something on somebody, that would work. Yes, Valentine. He dropped it on me that he was going on holiday for a month. He sprung it on me that he was going on holiday for a month. So, good. This next one's going to be more interesting. That way, it's not much of a reject, spurn, shun, defiance, rebuff. It's a conversation about how you can get it done. So we've got made two different, well now we've got three. It is a real goodie, yeah. It's one of my favourite phrases, left, right. It's a good one, it's a goodie. Okay, so Vitaly goes for rebuff, Valentine for reject, Vladimir for reject, Sherwin for defiance, Ritwick for shun, Count for defiance, Oksana for rebuff, Leferite for rebuff. Wow, this is really good. We've had all of the answers. And Maria goes for rebuff as well. Various choices. It's a nice one. For me, it's a really good feeling when I get lots of people choosing different things. If I've done that, I've written a good question. Manji goes for rebuff as well. Okay. And let's see. So, okay, let's do some of these then. Much of a rejection. Yeah, not a reject. A reject is something that is rejected, that it's below standard. Yeah? It's a second. It's got something wrong with it. This is a reject. And Vusla and Paul both go for reject. It should be a rejection. Yeah? So who's your favourite son of somebody who's got two sons? Who's the favourite and who's the reject? No, that's a reject. Somebody who's rejected from society. Yeah? Somebody who is shunned by society. To shun means to turn your back on, but it's only a verb. Good evening, Ronan. It's only a verb, to shun. That way you're not shunning them very much. So no, it's not shun. Much of a defiance. I think more normally defiance is uncountable. I guess it could be countable. A rebuffal. A rebuffal. A-R-E-B-U-F-F-A-L. Whoops. I've written it in the wrong. Let me put that as it should be. A rebuttal. That's it. A rebuttal. That's. Thank you, Ronan. Okay, so defiance. If you defy, it's like to defy is when you know you have to say yes. You defy authority, you defy the law. Good evening, Hussein, great to have you. Good evening, Iwana, wonderful to have you. Defiance is when you know you've lost, you know that you're in an inferior position and you can't say no, and that's defiance. Yeah? Spurn, a spurn, no, to spurn, this means to shun. Yeah, a reject, yes, vibes. To reject as the verb, but a reject as a noun. Change of stress, exactly, vibes. Defy gravity, yes. Okay, so to spurn. Yeah, to spurn, to turn your back on, to ignore, to say no to refuse. No, much of a rebuff. To rebuff is to push somebody back, to say no. I've written refuff. Let's try with that with a B. So yes, he rebuffed her advances. Yeah, he rebuffed my offer of help. To refuse, to say no. Yeah, not much of a rebuff. Yeah, not much of a rebuttal. It's a rebuttal, not a rebuffal. I love it. Okay, so rebuff. This is quite a formal word. Yeah, he rebuffed all offers of help. Yeah, he rebuffed my offer of a lift home. Okay, to reply by saying no. That's to rebuff. So that was a really good question, wasn't it? I think it was absolutely great. I told you it was a goodie, didn't I? Left or right. So let's go to the next one. Okay, yeah, to defy gravity, an act of defiance. Okay, you've just got to choose the right word, Hussein. So here you've got a new one, and you've got to choose the one that best fixed. Can we use rebuff to name a movement of pushing something away? Yes, if you're refusing it, you're saying no. I think you probably could as an action as well. To refute is to say no to. Okay, this is very good. Yeah, I should have had the other thing. Okay, this is the difference between effect with an A and an effect with an E. With the publication of her book, Bohns hopes that we'll all become more aware of the ways our words, effect with an E or effect with an A, others, and our tendency to underestimate the difficulty of refusal, so that we're more readily respectful to their boundaries. If we want genuine agreement, we should always be thinking of ways that we can make it easier for others to say no. And this is very important, the concept. So, okay. So what's the difference between effect as a verb with an E and effect with an A? So, to effect with an E is to cause a change to something. Yeah? To effect change. To be the person that implements something new. Yeah? Okay, to impact. Yeah? To in effect an order, to make it effective, to make it real. Yeah? Whereas effect as a verb with an E is very uncommon. And an effect as a noun is very common. Effect means influence, change, affect, have influence on. Yes, that's a good way of looking at it, Vuslat. Effect with an E can be a verb, but it only means to make something happen, to make something change. No, there is absolutely no difference between the two, left or right. Your question was good, Vuslat. So let's see, we've got effect for vibes with an A for vibes, Vitali, Kate, Count Beauty, Maria, Renyard, Valentine, Vuslat, Vladimir, MG, Mustafa. Effect as with when effect is a noun, affection. Good, Sherwin. And with an A for Paul, David, Lutz, Ritwick, no, they're the same as I said, and an A for Manji as well. So, to effect is normally a verb with an A, unless it means to implement a change, to make something happen. He effected my orders, to make something happen, to make something effective. Yeah? Whereas to effect means to change, to influence, to form a change on. No, to effect change. Effect with an E as a verb is transitive. It's not intransitive, Oksana. Yeah? To effect something, to effect change, to effect an order. Yeah, they're both transitive. Just with an E, it's nearly always the noun. And when with A, it's a noun. That's talking about affection and love, as Sherwin says. So, here we go, time to rock and roll. Our influence may often be invisible to us, but with a bit of training, We could all wave, brandish, shake, flap, wield that power with more compassion and responsibility. So left or right, intransitive means has a direct object. So, I eat the sausage. I eat the sausage, that's transitive, because what am I eating? The sausage. But if I just say I eat left or right, that's intransitive, there's no object. I eat, I'm not defining what I eat. And intransitive, no direct object. Transitive has a direct object. For example, the verb to love. You almost always need an object for the verb to love. Yeah? So to love is nearly always transitive. I love it. I love this. I love sausages. But just I love as a sentence, very unusual, possible. So, good evening, Taka. Hair. Brandish and wave are synonyms, very definitely, Mustafa. So, let's see, this is a collocation. And wield for Valentine and Vitali and MG. Good evening, Tom K. Wield for Mustafa, left or right, Hadi. Effect is a noun. Yes, that's correct, Maria. Sherwin for wield, and left or right's playing games again, and wield for Count Beauty. To harness that power. That's a good synonym. I like it. Brandish and wave are synonyms. To wield as well. Normally you brandish a weapon. When you brandish, you're threatening somebody. Yeah? So if you're brandishing power, you're threatening to hurt them. To flourish as a threat or anger, exactly. To wield doesn't say if it's angry or not. To flap up and down. You'd normally brandish a weapon, to brandish power. Yeah, thank you, Ibrahim. So, Maria for wield, so same for Hadi. He gave a lot of love. That's intransitive, left or right. He gave me a lot of love, but notice this is give, and that give is transitive. What did he give? A lot of love. Manji goes for wield, so does Vuslat. Peak. Okay, peak is angry. I've definitely got a video on peak. Just type in I Swear English and peaks Donkor. Yeah, there's a lot of peak. There's a lot of bad feeling between these two. Harness. Okay, harness is a good choice. It's a good word. It fits very nicely. It's a great one. So pull for wield and Zen. Faster than Jack Robinson. It's normally as quick as Jack Robinson. Means in a flash, like lightning. And I've definitely got a video on that one as well. Faster than you can say Jack Robinson. Yeah, I asked if he wanted help, and faster than Jack Robinson, he said yes. So Ritwick for wield. There's no problem with your antics. I love your antics. It's part of who you are, left or right. Jack Robinson is the name of a person. It's a long name to phrase. It's an idiom. So wield for Malak. Brandish a wooden club for MJ. Hold aloft. Yes, that's quite good. So, but with power. To wield power. Yeah, to wield power. You could, so, to wave, to shake. No, to flap. The bird's flapping its wings. As quick as greased lightning. Yes, as fast as you can say Jack Robinson. Okay, so this is very good. We're now at the end of this, and I haven't actually got the link to this one. I'll put it in the description when we finish. So believe it or not, as quick as greased lightning, believe it or not, we have finished that article. When you see these Z's with me, it means that article has finished. Okay, so brandish a weapon. You can also wield a weapon, though. To wield a knife. Brandish is aggressive. Wield is wave backwards and forwards. Whereas brandish, wave backwards and forwards in your face. Yeah, brandish is more threatening. If something is greased, it goes very fast. It's not possible for lightning to be greased. You can't translate them directly, Zen. So here we've got this effect question again. How do food influencers affect what we eat? Social media has revealed a fascination with sharing what we eat with others by posting pictures of it. Yield. To yield either is to give up, to give way, or is the productivity. Yeah? So the yield of this investment is 6%. A hectare yields 100 tons of potatoes. Yeah, the yield, the traffic sign, to give way, to yield. So how food influences, this is a verb. This is a verb again. So very definitely, very, very, very definitely, affect. Let's see, Valentine, with these two, if you just think, is it a verb or a noun? If you say affect is the verb, effect is the noun, you're going to get 95% right. Okay, so, yes. Whoa, Sherwin, it's the other way round. Yeah? And to determine what we eat. That's very good. That's very good, David. That's a very nice synonym. So, affect with an A, a verb. Effect with an E, usually a noun. Effect with an E, if it's a verb, means to make something happen, to implement it, to effect change, to effect an order. Whereas to affect with an A is to cause. And then affect with an A as a noun, as in affection. Hey, I almost never post pictures of my food. I just scoff it. To affect, to sway. That's a really good one. Thank you, Vitali. Because sway, I think, is my word of the month. Yeah? It's appeared various times. To effect a change, Hussein. To effect somebody's order. Yeah? And that's normally how I would use it. To effect, to bring about. Yeah? To be the implementing cause. Whereas, yes, to affect means to change. Yeah, one thing affects another. So, this next one, this is easy. It's hard to browse through social media without coming across, finding by chance, a banquet's, notice banquet, worth of mouth smacking, watering, licking, salivating posts. But do these actually alter your own food choices? Affect, result, yes. Bring about, effect, cause. Yeah? Result. Okay, so we've got lots of answers for watering here. So, watering for Vibes, Kate, Vitali, Leforite, Vladimir, Valentine, Maria, Count, that's brilliant, Oksana. So what is the phrase with smacking? Scrumptious food, that's the one, show, and scrummy. Mouth-watering posts, absolutely, Oksana. Mouth-watering. So watering for Paul as well. Delicious, yes, Maria. Vuslak goes for mouth-watering. Pavlov's dog. Mouth-watering, mouth-watering. Yes, you've got it. All the choices together for Tom K. It's mouth-watering. Something that makes your mouth water. Yes, beguiling, lip smacking. Yeah? Lip smacking, I would guess. Licking, lip licking. He licked his lips, maybe. Gobsmacking. To be gobsmacked is to be surprised. Yeah? I was absolutely gobsmacked. And mouth salivating. Yeah, well, something that makes your mouth salivate, I guess. But the collocation here, very definitely, mouth-watering. That looks absolutely mouth-watering. And that for Manji and Ritwik as well. Okay, so, you smack your lips. He smacked his lips. That would work. Lip smacking. Yeah, he smacked his lips. Finger licking good. Yeah, he smacked his mouth in delight. But no, mouth watering. Okay, lip smacking. Yeah, lip smacking, thirst quenching, ace tasting, innovating, good buzzing, cool talking. I can't remember the rest of it, but you know what I mean. So let's continue. Smacking sounds. You smack your lips. That tastes delicious. Many of us are lucky enough to have some degree of choice over what we eat. When we open the fridge or browse the shelves on the local supermarket, there are a smorgasbord, potpourri, cafeteria, cupboard of options available for us. Yes, that's the idea, gal. So, indulging. Okay, so we're starting to get some answers now. So Vitali goes for smorgasbord, and David goes for potpourri. Valentine goes for cupboard. Vladimir goes for smorgasbord. Oksana goes for potpourri. Maria goes for potpourri. Maria, you're a Scandinavian. Could you tell us exactly what a smorgasbord is? Because this is a Scandinavian word. I went to Cambridge University, Autumn. Yeah, I come from Oxford, but I went to Cambridge. And Count Beauty's gone for a potpourri. Reynard, a portmanteau. A portmanteau is where you take two words and you put them together to make a new one. Plethora, a plethora of options. I was thinking about using plethora when I was writing this. It fits very nicely. Smorgasbord, even though I've never heard this word. Ritwik goes for potpourri. And Tom K for cafeteria, a hodgepodge. Okay, a hodgepodge, a mixed sector, it would work. But this means a huge choice in this case. The only word you understand is cafeteria. Okay, so a cupboard. You know cupboard as well. Well, I'm going to let you all know it's not a cupboard and it's not a cafeteria. It's either a smorgasbord or a potpourri. So let's see. And Wuslak goes for a smorgasbord. Well, the original one they used is smorgasbord. I believe a smorgasbord is like a buffet of different types of cold fish and salads and cold meats of many, many, many different types. And that is a smorgasbord. Yeah. It's a Danish word for pick what you like. Thank you very much, Maria. That's a beautiful definition. They are a pick what you like of options available to us. And that's why it's smorgasbord, yeah? A slice of bread and butter, board and table. An array, that's a good word, left or right. So, what did I study? I'm a chemist. I studied organic chemistry. Okay, so a smorgasbord. A potpourri means a mixture of different things. But notice a potpourri has various different things. It's various things mixed together. But maybe I think potpourri says that it doesn't have a bit of everything. Whereas a smorgasbord has the idea of a huge selection. A cornucopia, I love it. Smorgasbord. Thank you very much indeed, left or right. Thank you. I think, Tom K, that word cornucopia is brilliant. A buffet Notice my pronunciation. So a smorgasbord, in English we use a smorgasbord to mean there are a huge number of choices. Yeah, so I guess there are a smorgasbord of different websites and internet. Yeah, there are a smorgasbord of different options to choose from. Potpourri, yes. Well, let's see. You can say it with the French vibes, potpourri, but I can hear people also saying potpourri. But I would say a potpourri. That sounds a bit more formal. The potpourri is more a mishmash. Yeah. We have different fridges with the author. Okay, so yes. I took the wrong A out. Thank you, left or right. Smorgasbord. Is that better, left or right? I hope it is. Thank you very much. You keep after me. I'll probably take the S out now. Okay, here. A ton. There are a ton of options. You could say that in English as well. Potpourri assorted. Yeah? Something easy come, easy go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is enough for this evening. Thank you very much indeed, all of you, for coming. It's been an absolutely wonderful class. Thank you for the donations. That was really kind of you. Smorgasbord would be awkward in a sentence not about food. No. So there were a smorgasbord of ideas put forward at the meeting. You could definitely use it metaphorically, Oksana. Yeah? But notice here they've used a smorgasbord of options. Yeah? So very definitely. Okay, TON Victor Gabriel is a British ton, which is slightly different to TONNE, which is 1,000 kilos. I don't know the definition of a British ton. I think it's something like 1,014 pounds or something like that. TONNE, 1,000 kilos, a metric ton. If we are to imagine, if we are imagining. So if we are to imagine talks about the future. If we are imagining maybe in the present, but I think both of them are the same, Tom K. Thank you very much, Sherwin. That's really, really, really generous of you. Thank you for congratulating me on 100,000 subscribers. It's for me, it's a great achievement, and I'm really, really happy about it. The bees are still alive, left or right. It's getting a bit cold and wet for them. Yeah. So wow, it's been a really, really great. It's really great to have hit 100,000 finally, and I'm really, really happy about it. Thank you all so much for your fabulous help, for your long-term support. Good evening, Lavinia. Great to see you. Thank you, Tom K. So I will see you all same time next week with a bit of luck. Eat a cake to celebrate it. Have a great evening, and thank you all for coming, and stay safe. I'll see you all next week. Thanks a lot. Bye for now. So I'm going to leave it on for a little bit so you can